I go in there, and if it's a lot of talking, I zone out. I know.
They're sharing you their whole philosophy.
I understand that, but you see, I could be sitting down with Einstein, and he can be telling me the secrets of the world, but I'm not there to receive it.
All right, we are back on another episode of Left Foot, Right Foot, and today we are going to be talking about why some teachers may not resonate with everyone. And you're going to experience through your tango journey that you will meet a lot of different teachers. And of course, everyone has their own style, their own approach. And that might not vibe with your own personal learning style. And it does matter. No matter how great or famous or well-renowned a teacher may be, if they use a style that doesn't really cater or fit your own learning approach, then it could be very difficult to digest or pretty much get anything positive from. As a teacher myself, in both tango and outside of tango and other fields, I will say that over time, it takes a long time to really craft and manipulate your own teaching approach, and that might change over time as well. And tango is no different. When you teach tango, you have to understand that there are going to be different students of different levels, of different experiences, and somehow within a 75 to 60-minute class, you will have to try to get them all on the same page, which is a very difficult task. And as a teacher myself, by no means am I saying teaching is easy. It is actually a very challenging and rewarding career. Don't get me wrong, it's very rewarding, but it is very challenging. And through tango, you're going to find that you're going to have these experiences where, oh, some people will rave about this one teacher, and you'll take them and you'll be super excited, and then you'll realize, oh, they do that approach that I don't like. So I will start with the ones that worked well with me. For myself, as a student of tango, I really enjoy when teachers are able to break things down on a very philosophical and personal level, meaning that I'm the type of person that the more information you give me, the more I'm able to soak in and digest it later, right? So I will try to take all these things in and remember what you say, and I come into a class knowing that I'm never going to learn whatever the material the instructor is going to tell me. I'm not going to probably learn it in that day to day. My job is to take that, internalize it, and hopefully later down the road, I will learn what they taught me on this day. Now, that's not great for everyone, right? Because I'm more of like a delayed gratification learner. There are some other people that are more instant, that need instant gratification. That's like, I'm going to learn, this is what we're learning today, and I'm going to learn something like this and have something to take home with them. That's not me. What about you, Rob?
Well, this is going to be something different. Where I'm not saying I'm an instant gratification person, and I'm not going to say I'm a delayed gratification person. For me, it's more of I'm an action-oriented person. I don't do well where there's a long lecture. Even in college, I fell asleep in most of my lectures. You know, it just didn't. I'm like a shark. I need to be moving all the time. I need to have some kind of interaction, even if it's a verbal class. There has to be some back and forth.
But don't you think it's different? Because I was the same way in college. I hated lecture classes too, and I needed something applied and hands-on. But for some reason in tango, I kind of changed that way because I can't learn anything. Even if I do it, there's no way in the time frame. How could you do it and think you're going to learn that?
Oh no, I don't. I'm not saying I'm going to learn it. I'm just saying my attention span is so short that if someone's going to digest an essay, you know, it's not going. That's not going to work for me. I need someone to say, "Hey, Rob, I want you to walk." Okay, I'm going to walk for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. But couldn't you just do that on your own?
No, I could. But what I mean is, like, then they come back and go, okay, I want you to change this, this, and this. Like, okay, I'll change that, you know, one or two things. But in a sense, I need things in a more action-based type of learning where, you know, I don't do well when someone is going to have this grand philosophy where I'm going to sit there for 90 minutes and digest their words in tango.
But a philosophy might change your whole outlook on the meaning of the dance for you.
No, it might. It might.
So-
But what I'm saying is that
yeah.
in terms of my mentality in tango, I'm not the smartest guy. So I need something that
So you want the fish instead of instead of you learning how to fish, you want someone to give you a fish.
no, it's not that. Okay, there's a difference between I'm going to teach you how to fish,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going to say, okay, there's like 7 knots, and we're going to do this and this and this and this and this. I need someone to just go, hey, Rob, here's a rod. You cast and get it in there. And then I'll go, I'm messing up. I'm never getting it. I'm never getting it. Oh, because you're not casting it right. Okay, that's what I mean. I need action. I don't do well with a lot of verbal stuff. I'm more of a visual learner. I'm more of a.
But what if someone
activist.
gives you the essence of what fishing is, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Like I understand the meaning of what fishing is, and thus you learn from that.
I learned that through experience and messing up. I don't learn that through words. I'm very much a guy who learns through my own mistakes. And someone needs to put me on a path, and there you go. And I know I'm not going to get it. They know I'm not going to get it. But I'm going to come back with questions because I made mistakes. And I need more time to make mistakes in front of them also. But I don't do well with, let's say, a half-hour class where someone's explained a whole bunch of things and I haven't moved yet. I need a class where they might explain things for 10 minutes and then I'm moving and then we stop because I'm screwing up and then he or she says something else for another 10 minutes and then I'm off to the horse races again and I'm screwing up again and I come back for another 10 more minutes. That's just the way I learn. I'm not I don't have the attention span for something that is deeply philosophical.
But what about, don't you get like that Obi-Wan moment, like in Star Wars, where you just hear the voice and you're just like, yes, that I remember when you said that was what I was doing wrong.
Yeah, I hear that, but that's like 6 months down the line.
Yeah, but you won't be able to develop that voice or Obi-Wan in your head if you don't hear them lecture or give you the thing.
I disagree with that because, for me, let's say Jorge Torres is one of my favorite teachers.
Okay.
Right? And I hear a lot of things in the back of my head that he reminded me of, but he did it in a way where he goes, okay, this is what we're doing, then this is what I want you to do, and this is what I want you to feel. And so he breaks down those levels, but he doesn't do everything all at once. That's what I mean, is that some teachers, they give you the whole shebang all at once.
Yes.
That's not for me. That's not for me. I need, I want my appetizer course first, and then we'll discuss. And then I want my salad course, and then we'll discuss. And then I want half of my main course, and then we'll discuss. And we might not even get to the main course, and then I want a little dessert in the end, and then we'll discuss. But it's more action-oriented.
You know what the problem is for me is it's almost your method of what you're explaining to me is like if I watch a tutorial on something, on how to fix something, like say how to change my tire. I go YouTube, how to change my tire, and the person gives me each step by step. I pause it and whatever, and then I do it, and I pause it and I do it. The problem is that I don't learn how to really change a tire. All I did was follow the instructions and step by step did what this person did. I never really learned like what I'm supposed to do to change a tire. I just said, get this tool here. That's what they did. Take this thing out. But I didn't understand why the lug nuts. Why do I use this tool? Why does this tire rotate this way? Why do I have to put the jack here? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. And I guess in my style of learning, I'm learning how to copy a person.
Yes.
And then after several times of copying that person, then I get to the point of learning something.
Okay, but then you don't have the thing after copying it because you didn't hear the whole gist.
And that's why I keep on.
You didn't hear all the flowers. You just sped through it.
Yeah, but I need that first because to me I'm not at the point of like I don't have the prerequisite, right? And that's where I'm getting at is that I need to copy something, and yeah, I didn't understand it, and I didn't digest it. I didn't get it. I'm just copying something, and I copy it more, and I copy it more, copy it more, and then maybe somewhere down the line, I have that aha moment because that aha moment isn't I got it. The aha moment is, oh, now I know what question to ask, and then I can go back to that class and actually have a longer discussion. But like, it's not. I'm not there. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, to me, then you don't need the master teacher.
I don't.
You just need the service level teacher,
I,
the beginning cook. You don't need the master chef.
that's true. I don't.
You just need the prep cook.
That's true. Until I get to the point. Until no. Yeah.
Because the master cook, like a Gordon Ramsay, will tell you the whole philosophy behind his cooking and exactly the technique he uses.
That's true. And that's where I'm getting at is that I know in myself that I'm not ready for the master teacher until I get to that point where I go, oh, I have the prerequisites down to know what questions to ask to get to that point. But I'm not even at that point yet. I need that service level person. I need I need the bare minimum so I can keep on repeating and repeating and repeating.
But then how do you know when you're ready for the master chef?
I don't. I take a stab at it and then I go, okay, maybe I got something, maybe I didn't, and that's just the way it goes. Most of the time, I go in there, and if it's a lot of talking, I zone out. I know. Hey,
They're sharing you their whole philosophy.
I understand that, but you see, I could be sitting down with Einstein, and he can be telling me the secrets of the world, but I'm not there to receive it. I don't have the capacity to receive it. Like, is it wrong for me to say that I'm not at the point to receive that kind of information?
Well, maybe you're just so used to the other method, you haven't tried the method of taking in the master's style first.
Oh, well, I've tried taking in the master styles first, and I zone out. So, and here's the thing: I didn't win the lottery, and when these master level classes are $400, $500 for a weekend, I have to start making some choices. And I have to start asking myself, am I at this point that I feel like I could spend $500, sit down, and really get something out of it? Or do I want to take a few more workshops and maybe a private with like the local teacher, someone who I've developed a relationship who actually understands me better? And yeah, until I get to that point. And right now, I feel that my money is better spent on the local teachers to get me up to that level. I don't think I'm at the level to take master classes.
Well, I would say that a lot of people don't share that same sentiment. They'd rather just sign up for the master teacher and skip all the other things, all other steps, and just go directly to the source.
No, and there are people who say that. We have a friend who just goes, oh, you have to go straight to the source, the purity of tango.
It all ends up in one place.
Yeah, and I totally get it. That's for them. But for me, I tried that, and it didn't work for me. That's where it comes back down to is that sometimes the source was and the source understood that I needed things in teaspoon sizes. Like someone like Jorge Torres understood that I needed things in teaspoon sizes because I was not at that level yet. And I got a lot out of him because he did that for me. But not every master teacher is going to have the patience to sit around for, what it comes back down to is that in terms of learning tango, I'm like maybe a second grader. It's like you might laugh, that's fine. But the thing is I know it in myself because I know how impatient I am. I know my style of learning. I know what I need because I stepped into those college courses of tango before, and I was totally lost. And I mean, I stepped into a Chicho class, and I'm like, yeah, no, I just wasted $200. Trust me, I appreciate what he was saying, but it was so advanced that I didn't have a shred of anything to comprehend what he was saying. And a lot of times when I've stepped into these master classes, I feel the same way all the time. And that's why I know that I am not at the level to be spending four or $500 on these people to get the same thing, which is not much because I'm not there.
Well, there's going to be a lot of organizers that are going to be very disappointed in your remarks right now because obviously they set up these tours with these well-known traveling professionals and they have to sell their
No,
workshops.
and there are people who are smarter than me. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm just saying for myself, I'm not that smart of a guy, and I think it's
Well, their point is maybe, like a good disciplined person, you should study more and prep more so you can get to that level instead of just saying, I'm not that level.
yeah. Well, hey,
Study the game feel, look at the plays, look at the playbook, right? If
yeah,
you were in sports.
yeah, and I'm doing that, but I'm a lot slower than most people. So I'm going to spend more time with the locals. I'm going to spend more time with the teacher, like the local teachers, to get me up to that speed. I think it's one of those things where it's really easy to think that you're advanced and get to these classes and like, I'm advanced, right? And I did that. Like I went through all that. Like, oh, I got all the figures. I'm super advanced, right? And only to find out that I don't know Jack Diddley like pretty much afterwards. So if we all keep on saying tango's a journey, there's no shortcuts or anything. Uh, sh- aren't you kind of telling me to like push harder and not and go faster when it's a journey?
No, what I'm saying is that you should be able to, just like tango, improvise and adjust and adapt to the situation given to you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just saying I try. I'm not saying I'm not going to try, but when it comes back down to the finances of everything, I'm going to make a smart play with my finances.
And
You
this
know,
is why a lot of instructors end up spoon feeding just sequences because that is something people can digest bit by bit, look at it, try to copy it, and take it home. But then anybody can just spit fire sequences.
yeah, that's true.
It doesn't take a lot. Like the mastery is behind the creation behind the sequences.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I think this is where I spend with a master's. I spend the money on the privates, not necessarily on the workshops. Uh, I don't get me wrong. There are people who spoon feed me very well, and there's a lot of meaning behind it. Like let's say Jean-Pierre and Lorena. I think they were amazing teachers. Their series was very well developed. I got a lot out of it, and in a sense, I felt both spoon-fed and that actually I was able to punch above my weight. But if I take a Chicho class, for example, I don't know, I'm way out of my element. So when Jean-Pierre and Lorena come back, I'm like, okay, I know I can take workshops with them. I can take these long seminars, and I have the capacity for it. But if there are other teachers where I've tried them out, and I kind of know that I'm not, like I don't have the prerequisites. Like no, there are people out there like I know I don't have the prerequisites for, and I guess the question is, if I know I don't have the prerequisite, shouldn't I just focus on getting to the prerequisite rather than just kind of go, oh, I can handle it. I can handle it. I can't handle it. And there's nothing wrong. I think it's better to be honest about where you are to grow faster rather than jump into something and be where something's way over your head and you're just flopping about. This is to me this is the same as like college admissions where sometimes people get placed in schools that are like way above their league, and then they end up dropping out.
Right. It's too
And
much.
then sometimes people go, well, they should have went the community college route, or they should
Been
have.
star students there.
Yeah, and it caters more to their level. There's nothing wrong about like let's say a tier 2 school. There's nothing wrong about against an Ivy
You
League.
make what your education
Yeah.
is ultimately.
Yeah, and that's where I'm
And
getting
that's
down
the same in tango.
yeah, but that's what I'm getting down to is that I know where my level is, and it's not where some of these master teachers are. and I step in there and I'm lost. I'm totally lost, and where I get my information from them is actually through the privates, not necessarily for the workshop series, because they're going at a speed that I can't keep up with.
Well, privates are always going to be probably the most optimal for your money.
Yeah.
Um, I, I've actually I haven't taken a private in a while. I've taken a lot of workshops in the last several years. Perhaps I need to take more privates. But for me, I just find the workshops, I like the culture of the workshop.
Yeah.
Like several hours, you meet with a bunch of your friends that also take the workshop. We talk about the workshop. We have lunch or dinner afterwards and talk more about what we got out of it. And then later on, those same people you remember, like you try to practice some of the things that you learned in the workshop with them. And so there's kind of a community behind the workshop environment. So that's why I also appreciate the long form discussion parts of these workshops, because that's where I really get to discover their unique approach and style to it. Whereas the other people, I can lean on the other people in class to remember the sequence or to go over these things. But for me, it's like trying to find what their secret is, what their style is, like the secret behind their signature things in the dance. That's more interesting to me.
Yeah, and well, I mean, and I get that. Like I guess when I look at it, like first, you come from more of an academic background, and I didn't come from an academic background. I came more. My background's more from. I mean, honestly, I didn't do well in college, so and
You went to UC school. I didn't go to UC school.
yeah, no, yeah, but I almost failed out of the UCs. So like I was punching above my weight, and that's where it comes back down to. It's like I mean, yeah, I didn't have the discipline to stay in there. And I barely I barely got through college, man.
I think that's one important thing to think about, especially with tango, is the discipline with learning. Because no matter how many workshops you buy, no matter how many private lessons you do, really it comes down to the discipline of applying it to yourself. And that is a lot more difficult than it sounds in words.
Yeah, no, it is, and I think the other thing is, I have a different I mean, you might have a better mind body understanding than I do, because sometimes people will tell me like, "Oh, Robert, you use your dorsals, right?" And when they tell me that, I have to figure out other things. Like I don't have a direct line to my dorsals. I don't have a direct line to use my back or whatever. That's why I'll do things like, oh, I'm pointing my belly button over there, and then that happens. It's like I don't I don't have a direct line to these things, so I have to like take something like one step beyond that's like kind of superficial to get there. So that's another reason why I say like I don't have the prerequisite for many of these maestros, and if I had possibly a better like mind-body connection, or better sensitivity to how to isolate certain muscles, maybe. But I think it's one of those things where it's good to know what your limitations are, and I think it's also good to know what works for you, because what works for you doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, with that said, there's so many teachers out there, and I highly recommend that you try many of them to understand the variety of methods and different approaches these tango teachers take, because you will learn a lot about them, and you'll learn a lot about your own self and your own way of approaching certain things in the dance. But nonetheless, we would like to hear from you. What is your style? Are you more like myself, or you like the personal, longer, detailed, discussion-oriented learning? Or are you more like Rob, where you're more of like the applied, hands-on approach and kind of test it out, be doing stuff all the time? But let us know. We'd be curious to know, because there are two stark differences, but I feel like there are many different ways to get to the same outcome. Just like in this dance, there are many different ways to produce the same outcome. So we would like to know what your thoughts are and where you stand in this discussion of tango teachers and their own teaching styles. But thank y'all so much, and we will catch y'all on the next one.
Hey everybody, we got some great news for you. Derek, tell them what's up.
Well, as most of you already know, we reached 500 subscribers, meaning that we were officially accepted as YouTube partners. So we're in the YouTube Partner Program. And as promised, we wanted to give something away to one of the first 500 subscribers. And we decided, you know what? We're going to give it to one of our subscribers who commented the most on all of our videos up to this point. So Rob, who was it?
Well, that lucky winner is CW-OM2QQ. You'll be winning a gorgeous left foot, right foot mug.
Our very first merchandise mug. Congratulations. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for commenting. And thank you all of you for supporting us up to this point. And we hope to continue to make great content for all of you and reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. We'll be official YouTube monetized partner. And also, we will be in San Diego in August for the San Diego Tango Marathon, and we're going to give away another one of these gorgeous mugs, and it will be our very first live podcast.
Yep, and thanks to the staff and Brick for inviting us. Our show will be on Saturday.
Yeah, so tune in. We will have a live audience, and you can also tune in live via the internet and chime in, and you'll see what we get, what we're up to on that day. It'll be fun. It'll be our very first live podcast, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you there and live for the very first time.
Thank you.